All right, welcome back to the channel. I'm a little bit late on this upload, but I recently played a tournament called the Baseline Open. So the Baseline Tennis Center is where the University of Minnesota women's team plays out of. And we have a summer series of tournaments that are USTA sanctioned that go on here in Minnesota. And this was kind of the kickoff event, and I was able to get out and play the tournament. So this is actually going to be the finals of the consolation draw for the men's 4.0 doubles draw. So I was playing with my friend Sam, who we've seen on the channel, who is a very strong 3-5 player. So he's playing up to the 4.0 division. And him and I didn't do so well in the first round. I think we lost 4-3 or something like that. We played some pretty strong opponents. And we'll see how on this day we can perform. But we did win our first round of the consolation draw. So that went pretty well. And now we are in the finals. So we are playing some strong opponents. Dan and Huey, who I know from league play and things like that. Huey was actually on our USTA team for one session. So they are very strong players. And let's see how this turns out. And I will see you at the end. All right, welcome into the match here. So we have Sam and I. So Sam's returning on the deuce side on the far court, and I'm in blue on the ad side in the far court, playing Dan, who's serving currently, and Huey, who's at the net in white. So yeah, this is the finals of the consolation draw for men's 4.0, as I said in the intro. And on this particular day, you can see we're playing outside. It was cold and windy, and the sun was brutal in regards to serving from the far court, so where we're currently located. The sun was kind of right in your eye line, so we'll see how that plays out through the match. But coming into this match, so I had been playing the men's doubles at 4.0 and the mixed doubles. Sam was playing the singles 3-5 and the doubles 3-5 men, or the doubles 4.0 men with me. And then I think both Huey and Dan both were playing the men's 4.0 singles and the men's 4.0 doubles. Right before this match, Sam and Huey both were playing long singles matches. So they were coming into this match pretty tired. So Dan and I are the two fresh ones on this court. So, all right, let's get into the match play a little bit. So I know Dan and Huey relatively well. Huey had been on our 4.0 team for a little while, and I've hit with Dan a little bit, so I know Dan is a very good doubles player. Huey is a fantastic singles player, but I haven't really seen him play doubles before. And then Sam is my partner. He's technically a 3-5 player, but he's a very high-end 3-5. I expect him to become a 4.0 very soon. And then we all know my game, so the goal for today is, play with the elements, but, work on getting first serves in, and then just be aggressive at the net as much as possible. Lobs were kind of deadly on this day because the wind was swirling and you never knew what the ball was going to do. Was it going to die? Was it going to sail? Was it going to go to the side? Kind of hard to really determine that on this particular day, but yeah, so this was a fun tournament to play, and was able to get out and play a lot of tennis. You can see Rarity, I'm wearing a hat. The day before I didn't, and I got pretty bad sunburn, and just trying to avoid the sun as much as possible right now. But all right, we have 1-1 at this point in the match. So I think it's just really a feeling out process. Right now, we have Huey serving into the sun, and he was having a lot of trouble serving to especially the ad side. The ad side is where the sun was very glaring in your eye. And I decided to take the side with the sun just because I knew I was going to have to do it for mixed. And Sam has the deadlier serve, so I wanted him to have as much clear path as possible to being able to see the ball and things like that. So that was the strategy there. But unfortunately, Sam missing a volley there, and now down 540 at this point. But what I noticed on this day is that Dan was doing pretty good at the net, and Huey, I think he preferred to kind of stay back, more as a singles player, like to hit the ground stroke. He did go for more down the line shots than you typically see in standard doubles play, but tended to work pretty well for him on this day. So that was a good strategy on his part because, as we know, I like to be pretty darn aggressive, and I gave him a lot of looks for down the line, and we'll see how that plays out through the match. Okay, so I'm serving. Up until this point in the tournament, I had not held my serve. I didn't hold it in the first main round draw or the victory in the... I don't think I held it in the victory in the first round of Consolation. I'm pretty sure I didn't. So the elements just really neutralized my serve on this day. I don't already have a lot of power to it, and the wind just slowed it way down, and things weren't cutting and things weren't twisting around as much as they typically would in an indoor court. So we'll see how successful or unsuccessful I can be on this particular day serving. But all right, let's let this... Okay, well, we're at deuce. So yeah, in a battle right now. Put in a good point here, Dan. I like the approach from Dan, being aggressive, but we get the bino, and Dan takes a little spill, but I think he was all right. All right, so now I'm serving into the sun. Again, difficult. It's hard for me to get first serves in for some reason. Sam gets a look at a ball, but unfortunately, the ball goes out of play. I was trying to hit that out wide serve to Dan on this day, and it just really wasn't working either. Because I think his backhand is pretty consistent, so I was trying to avoid that as much as possible. Keep on giving Dan a bunch of high forehands. Trying to throw in the lob there. Landed pretty well. Sam gets a good look at it overhead and just kind of sails it long, unfortunately. So yeah, again, the sun was difficult to deal with on that side, so hard to blame anybody to put away overheads on that one. And Huey puts in a great shot. Unfortunately, I do get broken there. So okay, let's let this play out a little bit, and I will chime in here and there. All right, we were able to battle back in there. We were down quite a bit, but now we are back on serve 3-4, and it is my serve, so I wasn't able to hold last time. Yeah, basically, as we can see here throughout the matches, the elements are really at play here, really kind of determining what's going on here, and just the person who can make the more balls and deal with the elements are the ones kind of succeeding at this point. I could really tell that both Huey and Sam were kind of struggling a little bit based off of having to play their singles matches right before this. So was able to, I think both sides were able to exploit that a little bit here in the match, and unfortunately I put in a bad shot there. Sometimes I try to kind of overcompensate for things, and like being that my game really wasn't translating well in the elements, I was trying to do a bit too much to manufacture more pace and try to put balls away, and as we saw on some of the shots, it just didn't work out, over hitting the ball, and unfortunately get broken there again, so down 3-5 at this point. So really not necessarily where you want to be in the set. Really, it's kind of do or die for the set at this point, and we really need to put in a strong effort. So I get an overhead, don't really do much with that there. Pop one up to Huey there. Another ball, and I remember on that point the ball was sailing along, and Huey, out of frustration, hit the net. And I'm like, well, we technically won the point before the ball hit the ground based off of him hitting the net. So kind of double won the point there, but that was just a joke. Again, we knew what was happening with that particular point. I just thought it was kind of funny how that kind of worked out there. So, all right, so they're up 40-15 at this point. So get the point there. Dan serving to me. The goal, okay, gave him a high volley there. Sometimes you get lucky on those ones, the problem I have is if I serve and volley, I have trouble split stepping, and that's where you can kind of get in trouble there if you don't stop and split step and really focus on the shot. As I've been commenting on some of the videos, my backhand hadn't been feeling the greatest lately, and on this day it is actually doing relatively all right. I was focused on margin, just putting a lot of curve on the ball, and that was working out well for me, and we get the break there. A little behind on that commentary, but down 4 or 5 at this point. And this is really the strength of our team. Sam serving and me at the net. Sam does put in a lot of power and spin on his serve, so typically sets me up relatively well at the net to be successful. So that's kind of where we make our hay at doubles. I felt like I could have just attacked that ball there, but I think wasn't as aggressive because Huey had been going down the line. So I was a little bit more tentative against Huey to be aggressive and pick up balls, because he does have the wherewithal to be able to kind of pivot and go for those lower margin shots and hit them very well. So wasn't as aggressive against Huey on this particular day. right, despite being down there earlier in the set, we get it to 6-all. So at this point, it's 7 points for a set tiebreak. So let's see how this one plays out, and can we take down this first set? All right, so unfortunately, we go down pretty quick in that tie break, and we go down the first set 6-7. So now I know we're starting off a new set, and typically I want to start off with our stronger server, but I wanted to make sure that I focused on being on the side with the sun. So we started off with me, despite the fact that I haven't held yet in this match. So whether that's right or wrong strategy, who knows, but I very much wanted to keep as clear path for Sam's serve as possible, to make sure that he's able to just focus on bombing those serves. And I had already kind of dealt with the sun and knew how to serve with it, so I decided to take the serve at the beginning, and we'll see if that was the right decision or not here at this point in the match. All right, well, that obviously wasn't the right decision here, because go down a break immediately, so that's unfortunate. We can see here now, Dan and Huey decided to switch sides serving. Huey was struggling with the sun there on the far court, so they decided to switch sides on where they were serving, so Dan is now serving into the sun. And yeah, it's that big of a factor. It was that big of a factor on this particular day. Oh, I didn't cut this out? Oh, I did cut this out. Okay. I just got a lot of them running to the other court. I thought I cut all that out, but we'll keep it in. All right. So there, yeah, returning again, focusing on margin. Do approach, but I didn't split step there, and my volley goes sailing there. So really need to focus on, stop, split step, and go from there, instead of running through the ball, which I just did on that shot. So, all right, so get another look at a return here for me. Down 30-40 here in this particular game. And the focus is just making balls, get them in play, get the point going. So give me a forehand, just able to roll that in, get up to the net. All right. And no, yeah, that was a very good lob. I wasn't able to get back far enough. So Dan gets the hold. So starting off in an 0-2 hole, definitely not where you want to be, but it's only one break at this point, so it's not completely dire here. And we were able to come back there in the first set. So the goal is just to stay strong, do what we do on Sam's serve, just focus on being strong there, and hopefully can get the break back here a little bit later in the set. Able to get the break back there after holding Sam's serve. So now is a true test. We're kind of in the dogfight here in this second set, and we need to do well here to be able to, take this to 3. So we have yet to hold my serve at this point. So the goal is do whatever's necessary to get that hold. The idea is make a bunch of first serves, be aggressive. Right, Sam gets a nice look at overhead. Wasn't able to quite put it away. We got a good point here. Yeah, that sun was brutal, but I was able to, not a pretty looking volley, but able to do the volley winner there at that point. So Sam gets a good look at a ball. Huey pops up a lob and elicit the forehand error. So can't expect that all the time, but get 40 love at this point. So definitely looking relatively good for my service game here. Again, just focus on rolling in that serve. Give Sam a look. That barely cut the line and gets the volley put away. So, all right, we actually held my serve the first time in this match. So that was critical to keep pace in this particular match. If we wanted any chance at making a third set, we needed to hold my serve. And that was critical here at this point. So, all right, we got Dan serving into the sun now, and he served good serve and volley there. We're all at the net. I pop up a lob that did relatively well, and unfortunately Dan gets a little wrong-footed there and able to sneak away with the point there. So that would have been a challenging point anyways, but luckily came out with that one. All right. Again, I put in a lollipop kind of return, but that just dips in and hit the line. So technically a winner at that point, but I think that ball's going out, so I'm going to let it go, and it just dipped in, luckily. So, all right, throw in another lob, put in another good lob, and then get the point at that point. So up 40-30 at this point, so returning relatively well. Puts in a forehand finally, and made the forehand error too. So it's always good to kind of vary up where you're serving the ball, and I had been getting a lot of backhands at that point. So good good on Dan for changing it up. So there. All right, so get the forehand, so actually get the forehand in play. Then a good exchange at the net, and Dan comes away with the win there. So 3-all at this point. So we got Sam serving, able to set me up for a good put away at the net, which always feels great. And then another ball at the net. Dan gets a good pickup on that one, but then sails a lob long. You can just see the difference between when I'm serving and Sam's serving, how many free looks at the net I get versus what Sam gets, just based off of the pace and placement that Sam has with his serve. So it's just night and day. All right, so we're up 3-4 at this point, so feeling pretty good. And let's see if we can make some hay through Huey's service game here. All right, so we get the break there, and now it's all on my serve to get us here into the second set. So we've seen how the serve, like I was able to finally hold that last time, so let's see if I can replicate that success here. But going down 0-30 right away isn't necessarily where you want to be. Sam digs out a good volley there, and we end up getting the point there. So 30-15. I figured out how to roll that first serve in to the sun side on the sun, so at least get the point started on a first serve, and then Sam gets a nice put away at the net to bring it to 30 all. Trying the out wide serve there, and it actually hit, so that hadn't been hitting very much all day, and Sam gets a nice look at a volley, but Huey runs that down, and just miscommunication there. I think he wanted Dan to cross. So all right, brings it to a third set. So now we're 10 points for the Conso championship. So let's see how this one turns out, and we will see you in the wrap up. All right, and we can see that in a very close match, and it went to a third set, that Sam and I were able to take it down. So we are consolation winners for the men's 4-0 doubles draw. So that's fantastic. Like I commented on the video, the elements were a big factor this entire weekend. It was very cold, it was very windy, and on this day the sun was very much in play. That especially serving on that far court, it was very difficult to serve on that side. So very good result for us. Very proud of the way we played and fought in this particular match, despite the fact that Huey and Sam had just played a lot of singles right before this one. So they were pretty kind of equaled out on being pretty tired in this match. So Dan and I were the fresh ones again. So yeah, really, really happy with the results and was able to take that down. I didn't get it on video, but I also was playing the 4-0 mixed draw, which it was a kind of round robin of 3 teams. So my partner and I ended up winning both of our matches. So we were able to take down the championship for that. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, really, really appreciate you checking out the video here. Please like, comment, subscribe. Kind of what'd you think of the matchup? Anything you can see that we can do to improve or things like that. Do I look like a 4-0 player? Does Sam look like a 3-5 player? What do you think? I know the leveling is always different, kind of from region to region and things like that. So give me a debate. Do I play like a 4 or 3-0 player? I don't know. Maybe I do. So we'll see how it goes in the comments. But really appreciate it. And as always, just get out there and play tennis.